Our this theme is think the whither Indian literature. This theme, I saw Harish here. I really am really scared speaking before Harish Trivedi, you know. So the theme of our this session is whither modern literature, which asks a question to us whether we are modern, then we can think what literature we are producing. So this is I am placing before you my thoughts. The symbolic content of culture and tradition has an intimate relationship with the emotional life of human community as authentic primordial roots. Take the example of myths and Puranas. Quite a number of stories and situations in the Purana have contemporary relevance and an emotive significance of immediacy. The Puranas and Bhagavata are not merely part of Purana, but in India is very much a part of the living tradition of people in modern time. In the West, complexities arise out of individual mind's response to the challenges of the external reality. In India, the complexities are inherent in the tension between the metaphysical beliefs and the social reality, and also due to the juxtaposition of several social situations. In a society, thousands of years of history and often contradictory metaphysical and social religious tradition, it leads to a type of sophistication and complexity of mind which may be unknown to the West. We are living in a period of history when human intelligence and knowledge have virtually no limits. But human imagination facing this knowledge explosion is increasing by creating a series of helplessness, spiritual void, the absurd, the bland world, the rootlessness, and alienation. It is in this context that the concept of cultural awareness in modern time ought to be aroused. Without culture, we cannot do anything. We live in culture, we write in culture. Actually, we write culture. The cultural introspection shapes the sensibility which changes a society in a fundamental way. Life and literature are synonymous. Literature emerges out of fearlessness and love. Writing is like breathing for a writer. It is so natural. We cannot force us for writing. Writing is freedom from self to selflessness, and hence a never-ending, never-satisfying quest. The search is from a seen world to an unseen horizon which binds man, nature, and universe, past, present, and future. Writing is incarnation of self, merging ultimately with infinite. Irrespective of the time the writer lives in, he transcends time and belongs to all times. Tradition, especially in its literary form, is generally perceived by a given society as comprising a set of literary creative traits inherited from the past. While the term tradition tends to carry the notion of the conservative or the orthodox, there is no gainsaying that the fact that in the literary cultural domain, tradition remains an essential prerequisite for the creative act of the present and for the future. Thus, no tradition, no creativity. Similarly, modernity refers to a radical shift of perspective and sensibility vis-a-vis tradition. Although modernity has been associated with a certain era and age, such as maybe 20th or 21st century, it can be justifiably said that modernity and the literary manifestation are relative terms which have to be understood in a given context of historical milieu. In the Indian context, we find that modernity and tradition, in the context of literary experience, seem to coexist. They are not antithetical to each other. Thus, we find that a preponderant number of Indian creative writers, especially in the regional languages, those who are writing in regional languages, are constantly combining the so-called traditional with the modern experience in life and in art. Indeed, it can be said that modernity, characteristically expressed by such writers through the prism of tradition, myth, legend, folklore, and metaphors. Modernity for me is preserving the eternal values of the inherited past and rejecting the age-old dogma for which humanity suffers. But it is seen that the inherited culture is either rejected and naive or is misinterpreted by some so-called modern writers for name and celebrity. Some even claim that they are entertainers. Even some writers, they said that we are not writers, we are entertainers. So, marketing strategy, agents, and ingenious packaging strategies for authors may discourage the creative, sincere creative, true creative genius from enriching the world of literature. To embrace everything that is printed, that is written as a piece of art would be gross invitation of mediocrity. Maybe these writers who say that we are entertainers, we are entertaining people, they may go back to a root and come out with a new version of Amar Chitrakatha, trying to create a new readership in the classical fame in future. Talking about our country India, a subcontinent in itself with the multiple languages, ethos and social strata appears extensively broad. We all inhabiting the subcontinent have more or less similar historical background, similar socio-cultural heritage, and almost identical problems and challenges notwithstanding the language barrier. Many languages is not India's weakness, it is India's strength. It makes Indian literature beautiful, powerful, and vibrant like a starry night. Every star is a star, and all stars together make the sky full and beautiful. We should be proud that we are born in a multilingual, multicultural, multi-ethnic country which strengthens the bond of literary kinship. So modern writers, if they claim that they are modern, their hearts should be very huge, broad, and they should be fearless, boldless, and open to write anything wrong in the society, anything which is going against humanity. Thanks to Times of India and Tefla for bringing us together to celebrate ideas, to think literature, to make us, they make us think literature. Thank God, the theme is they have taken think literature, not read literature. They don't dare, perhaps they don't dare to take that theme, read literature, because now it has been discouraged even by parents for the children. So reading literature is decreasing, and therefore time has come for thinking literature and living literature, not LAV, LIV, living literature. Thank you very much.